Jaron Boots Ennis feeling the pressure. Pressure. He has clapped back and given his side of the story. And in this video, I'm really just going to break that down. So let's jump right into it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, Jaron Ennis, listen, I don't beat around the bush. Let's jump right into it. He came out on his social media and he says, quote, all these false story and false narratives gonna stop. Like I said the other day, the truth gonna come to light. From here on out, we pulling everybody card from the rip. Ego thoughts. It sounds good. I mean, my thing is this. As a man, I can't tell you what it's like to be a woman or anything else, but as a man, which I fully can express my experience on this planet, right? As a man, certain things, I just believe men should act a certain way, put it that way. And for me, I really don't like to speak if I don't have anything to say, right? There are so many times where there's information or people send me content. Hey, Ego, make a video about this and that. And I mull it over and look it over. If I don't feel that I have something to truly add to the conversation, to inform, to opine, whatever, then I won't even make the content. That's how real I am about that statement I said about men, and men got to be men again. So I really don't, for me, I'm just speaking for me, I don't like it when people, men particularly, say something, but then you don't really say nothing. So if you're not at liberty to discuss it or speak on it, it's like, what's the point? And that's kind of the feeling that I got from Boots Ennis's tweets recently. So there's all these things about you and fights, and the timing looks bad. Your reported next opponent looks bad. All these things. And he says these fake stories and fake narratives gonna stop. Like I said the other day, the truth gonna come to light. What are you talking about? Right? You said something the other day like, what's done in the dark comes to light, or the truth will come to light. What are you referring to? You're saying a whole bunch of nothing. Like, you took the time out of your day to tweet this. So obviously you're feeling the pressure. You're feeling or seeing other people making videos, myself or fans, commotion, Virgil Ortiz's side. And you keep saying the truth will come to light, but you won't actually say what that truth is. You won't actually put the people on blast. That's what I can't really jive with that. It reminds me of my channel, right? I'll do, a 12, 15-minute video kicking nothing but fact, right? Breaking down this, that, and the third, giving my opinion, but supporting it based on facts. And then there'll be some knucklehead in the comment section, and it'll be like, Ego, you're wrong. They don't tell me what I said that was wrong. They don't fact check me and prove the information that I presented in the video wrong. They just say, Ego, you're wrong. Ego, you don't know. Ego, you'll see. Ego that, ego this. That's it. So you can imagine being a longtime content creator that I just ignore stuff like that, because if I'm wrong, then it's going to be a battle. You're going to have to prove me wrong. That's how we getting down, right? And I'll own it. If you prove me wrong and I put out bad information that was inaccurate, I will always set the record straight. The problem is it doesn't really happen. It doesn't happen that way. You'll just have people, because they're emotional and beta males, they'll say in the comment section, no, but Ego, you're wrong. So people like that, I like it. It's like Pokemon. I'm collecting them all, because that means I'm in control and you're not in control of your emotions. That's what that means to me, because you can't just say somebody's wrong without identifying what they did was wrong. Can you imagine having an English paper or a math test and your teacher said you got an F, but didn't mark anything wrong, any of the number 1 through 25, didn't show you what questions you got right, what questions and answers you got wrong. It just said you're wrong, you get an F. I mean, imagine that. And usually, from my experience, more often than not, when people say you're wrong or say this and that without actually saying it and breaking it down and enlightening people, that usually means you don't really have a stance. You don't have anything to really argue. Because best believe, if I was Jaron Boots Ennis, instead of putting this tweet like all the fake narratives and you fake stories, they're going to stop. Like I said, the truth is going to come to light. From here on out, we pulling everybody card. It sounds good. That's why I say it sounds good. It sounds good. But why not expose these people? If Virgil Ortiz's team, they're lying, which makes no sense. But if you have all this data or evidence, then why don't you put it out? Instead, we're getting these vague and ambiguous statements from Jaron Ennis about how everybody is pushing fake narratives and fake stories, but you're not telling anybody what was fake. I stand behind the content, in my opinion. Again, prove me wrong. So Virgil Ortiz's team came out, multiple people from his manager, Rick Marinigan, and his own dad, they came out and said, we haven't agreed to anything. We don't know what they're talking about. So give me one good reason why Eddie Hearn, your promoter, put out to the media that you have an agreement to fight in January, but then the person you allegedly have an agreement to fight, members of the team saying that is inaccurate and we've discussed nothing. And then again, in comes Boots. He's talking about all these fake stories and narratives. What fake story or narrative? So the burden is on you. The burden of proof. Prove that Virgil Ortiz and his team had deep negotiations with you and agreed to fight in January. Or if it's another topic, then explain, elaborate. But the fact that he put this out without elaborating what you're even talking about and kept it very vague, that doesn't really look good on your behalf. Again, watch the Eddie Hearn interview. He literally said, we have a fight agreed to. And then in the same breath, in the same interview, he says, hopefully Virgil Ortiz comes to the plate. So it actually, your own promoter, not no hater, not no YouTuber, but your own promoter made you look bad, because your own promoter did a interview and likes to talk, and you did an extension with said promoter, Eddie Hearn, and his company, right? And in that interview, he literally said that we have a fight for first part of 2026. And then in the same interview says, Virgil Ortiz hope he steps up to the plate, which goes in line with what Virgil Ortiz's people is saying, right? It goes in line with what they're saying, right? And I want to address this because you have a lot of fake individuals. Like, you got fake people who out here screaming like pro-black and FBA and stuff like that, but they're the same ones hating on Tank Davis. They're the same ones hating on this fighter. These guys are black fighters too. So how are you FBA and super pro-black master, right? That's the reality of it. So you're going to have some people who are be like, oh man, Boots is da-da-da-da, he's black, you're not staying on code. Bro, stop it. Please stop it. Black people have no problem keeping it real and calling out what's right and what's wrong. It's like going to a restaurant, the food's good and seasoned or it's not. You shouldn't have to lie about it. Oh, this is a black owned restaurant, so I'm gonna lie and say the food is good when the food is not good. That's cap. Bro, if you're a real one and you're a real black person, then you should be able to keep it real, including and holding accountable black people. So Boots doesn't get a pass because he's part of the culture if these moves don't really add up. You see what I'm saying? Now, if racists are coming out and hating on Boots for no reason, and he's doing all the things right, and they're just racist, then we gonna speak on that, and we gonna shine a light on that, right? No problem. I always stick up for the underdog. But the reality is a lot of these new fighters, these young fighters, they're not moving great. From Jaron Ennis and Keyshawn, sometimes Shakur Stevenson, and sometimes Devin Haney, and they happen to be black. You can't make certain things a black thing when it's more so how you're moving. It has nothing to do. Yes, there are racists who are coming out and doing whatever. That's old media. We know the usual suspects who are doing that. But what's happening is you're getting people who are trying to blur these lines and make it seem like if you have a criticism against Boots or this guy or that guy, that you're cooning or that you don't respect black fighters and all this goofy stuff. Stop it. Boots, the burden of proof is on him. It doesn't look good. You're going to fight a random person, per my sources, and he's 14-1. And if you fight him, it's not going to look good. Period. I don't care if you black, purple, blurple, white, Mexican. None of that matters. Nobody really needs to see that fight. Turkey himself said he don't want to pay for your tune-up fights. This is not a charity. So it is what it is. And then again, as far as Boots, he's putting out, man, these fake stories and narratives got to stop. Explain where people went wrong. That's the only redemption arc that you have, is put them to rest by putting out what's a lie. Because I'm ready to back up every word I'm saying. Like the stuff I'm saying and the inconsistencies that I'm pointing out, I'm going to keep feeling that way unless you prove me wrong. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. So I don't really understand why Boots put out these tweets. They're very cryptic, and you're saying words, but they're not meaning a whole bunch. And back to what I was saying about being masculine and being a man, there's no point to just put out stuff. Like if you're not going to clear the air, then don't put out a tweet or an interview like you're going to clear the air, but then don't clear nothing up. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I think this young generation has a bad problem with. If you're better off saying nothing if you're not going to actually reveal nothing. You know what I mean? If you're not going to reveal nothing, then it's like, what are we talking about? Let me know what you guys think. For more boxing news, subscribe. I am the best in the business. And you know, it's not even close.